what up, New York Giant Nation? It's your boy Mac, the Giants fan. And I'm coming at this one today. I'm kind of angry right now. I'm in my bag right now a little bit. Because I'm tired of the disrespect. Second year eligibility for one Mr. Eli Manning for the Hall of Fame. And for the second year, he gets the snub job. And I'm tired of hearing the excuses. I'm tired of the manufactured reasonings people are trying to find to say, oh no, he's not really truly a Hall of Famer though. At what point of his career was he like considered a top 5 quarterback or one of the best quarterbacks in the league? You know, those are arguments, that obviously can be made about Eli Manning. I'm not in total denial about this. But the reality is, and I've mentioned it before, and I'm going to say it again, Eli Manning is now going to be punished for playing in what is arguably, and I don't think it's really much of an argument, the greatest era of quarterback play in NFL history. I'm not making an argument that he's better than Peyton Manning. I'm not making an argument that he's better than Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, or guys like that played in his era. But that's a lot of competition. It's kind of tough to be better than all-time greats of that caliber. And I can admit that. But Eli Manning did something that a lot of those guys didn't. I mean, Tom Brady's a complete exception to the rule, obviously. But, to this theory here, but at the same time, he was a better postseason quarterback than all of those guys. Every single one of them that I just named, except for Tom Brady. Obviously, Tom gets that all day long. Eli Manning, you can say what you want about him in the regular season. But when it came down to the come down, and when it mattered the most, not many better than him. Yeah, sure. Peyton, significantly better quarterback in the regular season than his little brother. Who you taking in the postseason? And I dare you to lie and say you're taking Peyton. I dare you to lie and say you're taking Peyton in the postseason. Because it ain't happened. Not over Eli. You're not taking Drew Brees over Eli in the postseason. You're not taking Aaron Rodgers over Eli in the postseason. You're not taking any of those guys. You know why? Because they didn't have that clutch gene in the postseason like Eli did. They didn't have that superpower to just put it on you when it was time to put it on you, like Eli Manning did. Run some names down to you. Hakeem Nicks, Jeremy Shockey, Plaxico Burress, Odell Beckham Jr., Larry Donnell, Martellus Bennett, Jake Ballard. Do I need to continue? Steve Smith. Who were these guys? Do you even know? I mean, I know you know a couple of them. But for the most part, which one of those guys is going in the Hall of Fame? Which one of those guys got a Hall or we're going to see in Canton, Ohio one day? Oh, none of them. 0. Let's run it down. Jeremy Shockey, great tight end for the New York Giants. Who was Jeremy Shockey after he decided that he didn't want to be a Giant no more? He didn't want Eli Manning to be his quarterback no more. He wanted to run off because he was mad, upset, butthurt because he couldn't play in the Super Bowl in 2007 when he got his leg broke. Got a little butthurt by that, apparently. What happened to his career after that? Straight flatline. His career was on a Hall of Fame trajectory while he was here in New York. Hall of Fame trajectory. Flatline. Hakeem Nicks, injuries I know played a big part in his stuff too, but what was he after he left the Giants? Nothing. Nada. People like Larry Donnell, he was actually pretty decent for those couple of years with Eli Manning throwing him the football, wasn't he? A tight end that nobody knows right now. Like you couldn't say his name and people wouldn't even know who he was. Jake Ballard, the same thing. Had a hell of a year in 2011. Eli Manning throwing him the football. Patriots thought so highly of him after what he did to them in the regular season and the Super Bowl that year to say, let's scoop this guy up. Nada. Plaxico Burress, great receiver for the New York Giants. You know, he was solid in Pittsburgh before he got there, but he took another step when he came to New York with Eli Manning as his quarterback. Until we all know what happened with Plaxico Burress, so we don't need to go down that road. Steve Smith. Yeah, not the Steve Smith from Carolina. Not the famous Steve Smith from Carolina. Talking about the Steve Smith that used to play for the New York Giants. Oh, yeah, we had a guy named Steve Smith, too. But he was only relevant when he played for the Giants. Look, and let's take it all the way there. One Mr. Odell Beckham Jr. Hall of Fame trajectory at the start of his career with the New York Giants, with Eli Manning at the helm. Hall of Fame trajectory for that young man. And I know, once again, injuries played his part in his undoing. But at the same time, he was injured a lot for the New York Giants too, and he was still on that Hall of Fame trajectory. What was he after he left the New York Giants? It just kind of, plateaued. He had that great Super Bowl for the Rams. I'll give him that. But for the most part, it just plateaued after he left the New York Giants. Look, I'm telling you this because one of the arguments against Eli Manning is, who did he ever make better? He made a bunch of guys who, for the most part, were just regular guys better. What Hall of Famers did he play with? Football's a team sport, right? What Hall of Famer guys did he play with? He played with a bunch of regular guys for the most part. He didn't play with guys that were highly touted around the league. He didn't have that luxury. He didn't have a Randy Moss at his disposal ever. He didn't have a Marvin Harrison. He never had that kind of shit. Nah, not Eli, man. He went out there with what he had, though. And then people all say, Eli Manning. After the playoff games, only the playoff games he won were the 2 Super Bowl years. Yeah, that's true. But did he play poorly in the other ones? No, not really. I mean, he had a couple, and the first couple were a little rough. Those first couple were a little rough, his first couple that he played in. But for the most part, no, not really. He did what he had to do. 2016, that L wasn't on Eli. He was throwing darts that whole game. He can't catch the ball for his receivers. So this is just it's just frustrating right now for me that people continue to hate on the legacy and the greatness of Eli Manning. Oh, all he did was win 2 Super Bowl MVPs. That's like all he did. Yeah, all he did. How can you say all he did was somebody winning 2 Super Bowl MVPs? You do know only 4 other people have accomplished that goal. 4 other people have done that. Only 4. Only 4. 4 others. He's one of 5. The other 4, well, one's not quite in the Hall of Fame yet, but you know damn well he will be. That's Tom Brady. But Terry Bradshaw's in the Hall. Bart Starr's in the Hall. Joe Montana's in the Hall. Tom Brady will be in the Hall. Eli Manning deserves to be in the Hall. These are the points I'm making. In these Super Bowls, clutch moments. If I say the numbers, 9 of 14, 152 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Do you know what those numbers refer to? The fourth quarter stat line of Eli Manning in Super Bowl 42 against an undefeated team. 9 of 14, 152 yards, 2 touchdowns. one of the most iconic throws in Super Bowl history, in Super Bowl 42, that helmet catch. One of the most iconic throws. Eli did that shit. A play in which most quarterbacks would have gotten blown up, went down. Somehow Eli wiggled out of all that pressure, got away, and made that throw. And made the connection. Put it up there, gave his guy a chance, and the rest was history. You do know only 3 football teams that entire season of 2007 season even gave the Patriots a competitive football game. 1 being the Baltimore Ravens, 2 being the Philadelphia Eagles, and who was the third one that gave them a competitive game in the regular season? Oh, yeah. That would be the Eli Manning-led New York Giants as well. And it was week 17 of that year, and I don't want to hear nothing about the Patriots. They wasn't playing that hard. It was the last week of the season. They were playing hard because they wanted to preserve that undefeated record. And they played their ass off, and they took everything they had to hold the Giants off on that particular night. But a few weeks later, Eli got his get back. Let's fast forward to Super Bowl 46. See that patch right there? Let's fast forward to that. Oh, here we go in the fourth quarter again. New York Giants down. Need some more Eli Manning magic. Boom! Yet again in the Super Bowl on the biggest stage, another iconic throw to Mario Manningham. Down the sideline, dropped it right in the bucket. Perfect throw, perfection at its finest. In the fourth quarter, backs against the wall. Eli Manning never wavered, never gave that a second thought in throwing that pass into beautifully covered. It was perfect coverage. Perfect coverage. But the throw had to be more perfect, and it was. No you cannot tell me Eli Manning is not one of the best all-time clutch quarterbacks of all time. That is a fact, whether you want to admit it or not. And by the way, yeah, Mario Manningham's another guy. Pretty irrelevant with any other quarterback other than Eli Manning in his whole career. Pretty damn irrelevant. Just throwing that out there, another guy. Hall of Fame committee. You need to figure it the fuck out. And you need to get it right. Because this man's name right here belongs up here. It belongs right up here. That's where it belongs. Because he's a Hall of Famer. He's a legend. You cannot write the book, the story of the NFL without that man's name. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. You can say whatever you want about him. You can say he's a 500 quarterback, he this, he that. He was a dog. He was a dog. He was an Iron Man. Strapped it up every day. Came ready to work. That 2007 season, he should have missed half of that season with a shoulder injury that he had. But nah, he rode out there every week and was riding out for his boys. Ride or die. Eli Manning's not a Hall of Famer. Psh. Better go ahead somewhere with that shit. Better come correct, Hall of Fame committee. Better get it right. And you better get it right soon. He should not have to continue to wait because of all these politics and bullshit. Like I said, he played in an amazing era of quarterbacks. So yeah, he didn't necessarily stand out amongst those guys necessarily. But that didn't make him not great. And he should not be punished for that because he did some things great that some of those guys didn't do. 2 times. 2-time Super Bowl MVP. How do you just continue to just disrespect his name like that? His legacy, everything he meant to this league, to the New York Giant organization. Get it right. Get it right soon. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and definitely ring that bell when you know so you know when your boy dropping some new content for you, man. And any of y'all haters out there, if you want to talk about this on any platform, come see me. I am Mac the Giants fan. MACDA Giants fan. Pay! I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment and let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants fan. That's MACDA Giants fan.